to Gossip Queens and Fantasy Things.
I'm Taven.
I'm Addie.
We're your Gossip Queen house, as usual.
We're so excited to be here. We are talking about all things witches today.
If you're watching the YouTube, as usual, you get the vibe.
Yeah, got our little witch hats on. Had my evil witch laugh to open, which I feel like it was pretty good.
Addie was quite impressed with herself. We were, like, practicing before we started, and she was like, oh my god, I was so good. I'm so good at this.
I was like, we should open with, like, a witch laugh. Taven wouldn't even try hers, but I was like, I'll give it my best shot, and I did it, and it was
First
perfect.
Try.
I was like, oh my gosh, what a secret skill, a witch cackle.
There you go.
Maybe it's close enough to my normal laugh that it just,
God.
that it just fits.
What if someone described your laugh as a cackle? They're like, I love when you cackle. How would you feel about that?
I think you know exactly what I would do. I would end it all.
We know the phrase.
I could not stand that. That would be really embarrassing for me. But I felt like my witch laugh was good. Let me know what you thought. We're really excited. If you've been listening the last couple weeks, leading up to Halloween, we're kind of diving into different creatures, monsters, up until Halloween. Yeah, so we've done vampires and ghosts so far.
Yeah.
This week is witches. We're excited to get into a little history of witches,
Yeah.
favorite pop culture witches, things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did want to start, as always, with our weekly recap. So Taven, you can take it away with the weekly recap.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I had a little bit of a crazy week this week. I went on a little road trip, up to Boise, Idaho. I don't know if I should say Boise or Boise, like, Z or S.
I think it's Boise.
Yeah, that's what I always say is Boise, but then I'm like, is it Boise? I feel like when my birth dad lived there, he was always like, the correct pronunciation is Boise. So I don't know.
I think it's Boise.
I also learned this weekend, being in Idaho, that the Utah accent is a real thing. Because everyone there was like, oh, I just love the mountains. And I was like, ugh.
Mountain. Layton.
But yeah, every time... So yeah, I went to visit my boyfriend, Jordan, but every time, because he was in Utah for a little bit, he'd be like, yeah, when we were in Layton, I was like, that just sounds weird.
Do not pronounce a hard T.
That's crazy.
That's disgusting. Disgusting. Some words can have a hard T, but...
I'm just gonna, just start not pronouncing my T's at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Should do that for the rest of the podcast. Try it.
Yeah, so went up there this weekend. I left on Thursday, just got back yesterday. And it was so much fun. I got invited to a wedding. One of my boyfriend's coworkers was getting married, and it was so much fun. Felt really, glad to be included, because I've never met any of these people before, so I'm, like, basically a stranger to them, but it was so fun. The dancing was so much fun. The food was good.
And they all loved you.
They did. I think Jordan was more nervous than I was about me meeting everyone, because I was excited, because, like, doing long distance, it's kind of hard, because I feel like we're a part of each other's lives, but not a part of each other's lives, you know? Like,
extended lives.
When he came down here and, like, met you guys and stuff, that was cool, and so I, like, felt like I got a little glimpse into his real life, which was cool, but he's obviously been talking to me a lot. He's in the Air Force, so military vibes, you know, but he's been talking about me a lot to his coworkers, so they were all really excited to meet me too. And yeah, I made some really fast friends with a few of them, and then he texted me this morning and was like, my coworkers just have so many things to say about you, and apparently they called me a firecracker, which I have never been called before in my entire life.
Okay, I like that.
That is never a word that has been used to describe me, but I guess because they said that they love that I don't take anyone's shit, but especially Jordan's, and I was like, okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I was like, love that that's the impression that I was giving.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that indicates a lot of growth.
Yeah.
A year ago, never
I took shit.
Taven took the craziest shit.
So yeah, maybe I've learned my lesson, and here I am now. But,
okay, I love that. You didn't tell me that. That's amazing.
Well, he just texted me that this morning, so I totally forgot. That was like his good morning text to me. But
good morning, firecracker.
I kind of like it. That's fun. But yeah, the bride was so fun, because like she was like his coworker's wife now. So she was, like, even more kind of, like, removed from... But it was nice, because she, like, grabbed my hand and, like, pulled me onto the dance floor, and everyone was just so nice and so inclusive, and Jordan was so sweet. Of course, I got there and he like had stocked up the whole fridge with like my favorite sparkling water and like
So sweet.
my favorite snacks, and it was so cute. And then yeah, the rest of the weekend we kind of just hung out and played some video games and chilled. And
That's so fun.
it was amazing, and I cried when I left. It was actually super embarrassing. I don't know if I told you this yet, but I like got in my car and he like gave me a little hug and kiss goodbye, and like as soon as he walked away, I just started like sobbing, like violently sobbing. And then I was just like so wrapped up in my sobbing that I didn't notice he had come back.
You're sitting there.
And then I look up and he's like has come back, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "I just wanted to say goodbye one more time."
You're like, I really wish you hadn't. I really wish you had just gone
This is really embarrassing. I wish you had just left it the first time. I literally felt so bad because I was like, "Go away," and then he was like, "Okay." I was like, that's not the last thing I wanted to have said to him was go away, but it was just like caught me so off guard.
Sometimes that's how it is.
But yeah, if anyone's ever been to Boise, I feel like a staple of my experience going there is I always have to go to Flying Pie because they have this world famous habanero pizza. And
I've never heard of any of this
It's
stuff.
been on like the Food Network and stuff. Like I think like I don't know if Guy Fieri's been there, but someone's been there. I don't watch the
Food Network.
Someone famous has been there. But so I always have to go there every time. So on the way home, I grabbed a little like personal habanero pizza for the drive. And I was like, you know what? I'm feeling spicy. Let's go double habanero. And I was dying.
On a drive by yourself?
On the drive home, I literally had one slice, and I was like, almost like, it was so spicy, that way more than I remember it being. And I literally had to turn on my AC, and I was like,
putting your tongue up to the AC.
Cool me down. Because the only thing I had was water, and water makes it worse. So I was just like, panting and like drooling. I was like in so much pain the whole drive home. So then I brought it home for my dad because my dad loves spicy stuff. Like, hey, I was like, I brought a present for you. And he's like, oh, this looks so good. And then he like, because habanero I think is the type of heat that like builds up and like keeps getting worse over time. Because the first bite I took, I was like, this is delicious. But then the more, so then he had one slice. He was like, it's not even that bad. I was like, give it 5 minutes, buddy.
It will be. It will be, Dad.
You son of a bitch. So, yeah, that's a brief little summary of my weekend, but it's just so fun. I'm glad to be home. I missed you and Cody so much. I literally was just like, on the way home, I was like, I can't wait to see my friends.
I missed you too. I think it's annoying how much we see each other.
I know.
27-year-old adults. I feel like we shouldn't see each other this often, but
it's literally, yeah. If I go more than like 3 or 4 days without seeing you,
like, oh my god, where's Taven?
It feels weird. Something feels off.
Yeah, it was off. We had a movie night this weekend, and Taven wasn't there. I was like, this is weird, but
this is crazy.
It was still fun. We watched Cabin in the Woods. Would highly recommend for a fun little Halloween movie.
A classic one.
It's so weird. I watched it with a few people who haven't seen it ever. So I feel like you have these expectations that it's just kind of like a classic scary movie. It's
so unexpected.
It is. It's a very unexpected film. If you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods with Chris Hemsworth, I would highly recommend watching it. I think it's really good. It's a fun, scary movie.
I feel like, doesn't it like start off like kind of slow and normal and then just like
yes.
So much happens.
Yeah. It's really fun. I really like it. But that was pretty much all I did this week on a movie night. I did a like a triathlon with my gym. But you do like a 2,000 meter row, 300 body weight exercises, and then a 5K. Damn. It was really hard. I wanted to die. I hated it.
Yeah, gross.
Played some pickleball. That's pretty much it. It was a pretty chill week. But this weekend, I have... Yeah, I played with my mom yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But we're playing tonight.
You guys gotta practice.
Yeah, we gotta practice. Because we have our tournament on Saturday. Taven and Cody are playing together, and I'm playing with my mom.
And
so
we're gonna destroy
we gotta win. I have an art show on Friday that we're going to. I'm very excited. I have a couple pieces in a group exhibition up in Park City, so
excited.
That'll be really fun. So some fun things this week. This last week it was pretty chill, pretty regular.
I was so busy. I was like, literally when you like asked me today, you're like, let's go play pickleball after the podcast. I was like, maybe can I meet you guys there? Like, I feel like I just need like an hour to myself to just like unwind, because I like, not that I didn't love the weekend, like I really did, obviously, but it's just like I'm so used to like my routine now where I just have like a lot of time to myself, where I'm like either just like writing or drawing or reading or whatever, but I just I feel very at peace and comfortable in my own presence finally. So I just like was constantly surrounded by like people this weekend.
So you're like, I need a little bit of time for myself.
I need a little recharge, a little
That's
the
crazy.
social battery, yeah.
I always need to be around people.
That's
I love
so
being around
crazy.
people. I'm like,
I do love it, but
home alone for an hour. I'm like, can someone come over and hang out with me?
that's so funny. I'm
I
the
don't know.
exact opposite.
The thing is, I like when I like time for myself, and I like time to think for myself. Like when I drive and stuff, I drive with like the radio off. Like I like
That's
to,
crazy.
or when I paint, a lot of times I paint in silence. Like I like to have time to think for myself, but I really like other people just around me. I feel like that's what builds my energy is other people's energy. So.
Interesting. I do get that. Like, definitely, like, I think your energy rubs off on me a lot. Like, okay, this is gonna sound so crazy.
Okay.
This is gonna make it sound like, yeah, like you in 3rd grade attitude towards me.
Oh my gosh, I'm interested to hear what you're gonna say.
Okay, on the drive there, I was feeling, like, not necessarily anxious, but just a little bored and, like,
yeah.
Because, yeah, the drive to Idaho is just a bunch of fucking nothing. Like,
yeah,
it's just...
and it's 5 hours.
As soon as you leave the mountains, it's just flat, it's just nothing, nothing to look at, and I was kind of getting, like, bored and just a little, like, in my head. And I was like, I know what would calm me down. So I turned on our podcast, and literally just, like, hearing your voice, I was like,
gosh.
I feel so at peace. I feel so at home.
I just have such a soothing, beautiful energy. So, wow.
It just really, it calms me down. And anytime we go anywhere and I'm, like, nervous, like, because we are going to go to Nevada.
Yeah.
A few weekends.
Maybe we'll do a podcast on the road.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be so fun.
But usually, yeah, for long drives like that, I do get, like, a little bit nervous. But I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? As long as I'm with Addie and Cody, I really will be fine.
Yeah.
Like, nothing bad can happen to me.
Because of my magical, soothing voice. I'm gonna make you a little, like, voice note that you can play at night. I'll read you a poem and be like, good night, Taven. Sweet loves to you in your quest for good rest.
That's, oh my gosh.
My mom texted me that one time. Like, when I was in high school, I don't know, she just texted me out of the blue at night, and she said, sweet loves to you in your quest for good rest. So now I say that sometimes to people.
That's so cute.
It was cute. I think she'd taken an Ambien, and she was a little out of it, but...
I actually really would listen to that. Like, I would make that a part of my nighttime routine. I'd, like, brush my teeth, do a little stretching, and I'd be like, time to listen to my voice note.
My personal voice memo from Addie.
I just drift off into sweet dreams.
Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe I'll do it. That sounds fun.
Okay.
Alright, well with that, now we can really dive in to the witchy stuff. We're gonna start with our favorite pop culture witches, or the ones we're really into right now.
Yeah.
Then we'll probably go a little into the history, some things we looked up, and then maybe back into some pop culture recommendations. Yeah. So, go from there. Do you want to go first? Or do you want I can go first, whatever you want.
I'll go first. Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Well, okay, yeah, because I was kind of just so obsessed with the Vampire Diaries right now. It's crazy. Actually, because Jordan set up, like, a whole little, like, because he knows that I have to fall asleep to sound, so he set up, like, a whole little thing for me. Because he doesn't have a TV, but he had, like, set up his Xbox and, like, a computer monitor. And the whole weekend, I was just obsessively watching the Vampire Diaries. It was
such
so
a good
crazy.
show. Honestly, we already talked about it on the Vampire episode, but Vampire Diaries is largely witch-based,
very
too.
inclusive, yeah.
And werewolves.
And
so
ghosts.
You really
a
should
little bit
listen.
of everything. But I'm at the part right now where Klaus, he's, like, one of the main villains. He, like, goes back to New Orleans. And there's, so much witchy stuff happening, and it's just so good. And then there's, the main witch in the series, her name is Bonnie Bennett.
She's lame.
She's alright.
We actually made a little video on TikTok a while ago, and it was, like, ranking Vampire Diaries characters.
Yeah.
And we ranked Bonnie, like, I don't know, towards
like
the bottom
6
half.
or 7.
6 or 7. There were 10 slots, and someone commented on it. They're like, why would you do that to Bon Bon or Bonnie, whatever?
Putting this guy before Bon Bon is crazy.
We're like, Bonnie's not our favorite. Kind of lame.
She's just, I don't know, she's, like, so dramatic, and, like, she's, like, annoying about it. Like,
she's a little self-righteous.
Yes.
Like, she thinks that everything she does is not only, like, the best way to do it, but the only morally right way to do it. And I'm like,
Which, like, granted, the vampires do some shady stuff in the show.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the most part, they're all trying to fight for the greater good. Like, they're trying to save the people they love. They're trying to save the world at some point. And then she always just, like, has her little opinion in the background. She's like, I'm not helping him because he did this and he sucks. And I'm like, okay.
Well, and my thing is like, either lean into it and, like, do the good you can in that world, or don't be involved in it at all.
Yeah.
Because she's, like, wanting to be in this, like, vampire world, and these people all suck. They're vampires, okay? They're not good people.
They're all kind of murdering
and she's,
scheming.
like, so on her high horse about it, but I'm like, then just either fully remove yourself from the situation, or do everything you can to, like, have good things happen in this world.
Yeah.
I don't like her.
That's what, at the beginning of the show, she's like, I don't want to be involved in any vampire business. And then immediately gets involved in vampire business.
Yes.
And then she, like, towards where I'm at right now, it's kind of like the middle. I think I'm on, like, season 4 or 5. But she is the one that starts getting into, like, dark magic and expression and stuff. And she's like, I have so much power now, I'm in control. And then she loses control and fucking kills everyone.
Bonnie.
She's crazy.
I don't know, she's not my favorite.
But yeah.
But the Vampire Diaries, so good. And we've talked about the originals too. That's a spin-off show.
That's more set in New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans, and I feel like the witchcraft element is so much stronger in the originals, and that's kind of why I like the originals better, because some of the main characters, they're like witches, because the original family, they came from witches. That's how vampires were born in this world, was from witchcraft.
The original witch created the vampires.
Yeah, so I really like that element to it, and then, like, being in New Orleans, that's, like, kind of fun, too. But
so spooky, so fun. But yeah, this other big bad guy, Marcel, has, like, taken over New Orleans and banned witchcraft, and so they're all, like, trying to get around that and, like, kill him. It's so fun. Yeah. They're doing, like, secret spells and rituals. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, actually, I might jump around a little, but since we're on New Orleans, because we were researching, like, the voodoo dolls. Well, this kind of came in with our research on witches, and it led to voodoo dolls. We were talking about it. But a lot of that was, like, talking about New Orleans and stuff, because they sell a lot of voodoo dolls there. So let me give you a brief...
They do?
Yeah, like at Sudafigure shops. Yeah, and they have, like, voodoo shops and stuff. They're like a little tourist tchotchke.
Oh my god. Okay, we need to go.
Okay. Taven really wants a voodoo doll. She's been really wanting some.
Well, I want to make one, though.
Okay, we could make a voodoo doll so easy. Let's do that this weekend.
Okay.
During our movie night, we'll make a voodoo doll.
Okay.
But anyways, we were kind of looking up, like, the history of voodoo dolls and stuff, and I thought it was interesting, so I'll just give you a little brief intro to it. But I guess, actually, like, the Louisiana voodoo and kind of Haitian voodoo, like, that actual practice, they no longer like to associate with voodoo dolls, and they've pretty much, like, what is the word? Not declaimed.
Oh, you just said it earlier.
I just said it. Oh, God, I don't know. But denounced.
Denounced.
They have, like, denounced voodoo dolls because they've gotten such a negative, like, a negative connotation. Bad rap, especially from, like, the media and from Hollywood. Because people generally think of a voodoo doll like you use it to inflict pain on others or control others. Hexing. Scooby-Doo, Zombie Island. That's an amazing movie, and they use voodoo dolls in that. You've seen that movie?
I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
Oh my gosh, they have the voodoo dolls, but they're made of clay, and they, like, hold them against the fire, and they start melting, and then, like, the Scooby-Doo gang starts, like, melting. And
oh my god, yeah.
That movie, 10 out of 10. It's actually scary, and it's in Louisiana, but it's probably one of the best Halloween movies you could watch. But anyways, so voodoo dolls have kind of gotten a bad rap, but we were looking up what they were originally used for in, like, Haitian voodoo and Louisiana voodoo, and they were used by holistic healers. It was essentially, and this is what I looked up online. I saw it on 2 websites, though, so that feels like it's probably true. I don't know. I'm always scared someone's going to call me out and be like, that's not real.
Remind me, I have a little side note about Googling stuff when you're done with this story. Okay, it's so funny.
But so holistic healers in voodoo practices would use them essentially as a body map of their, like, patients, people who would come in, and the pins, they would use pins and stick them into a voodoo doll to indicate, like, if someone came in with a headache, they would use a pin to show, like, they were experiencing pain here on the body, put it in the head, and they would use multiple pins to indicate pain level. So, you know, the more intense pain, the more pins they would use, and that was kind of how they would, like, track their patients'
that's so crazy. Just, like, instead of, like, a chart, just, like, making a whole ass doll. That's so fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. So, I don't know, that's what it said kind of the origins were in these holistic practices. So it was actually a tool to help, like, heal people rather than to hurt people. But obviously, if you have, like, a creepy little doll with pins in it, I think that's gonna get kind of a bad rap.
Like, what the hell is that?
You're gonna be like, why do you have all these, like, human dolls with needles in them? That's crazy.
That's kind of one of my points too was like, I really think that, especially in modern day, but witchcraft really is the energy that you put into it. Because, like, yeah, it can be used for, like, holistic, like, healing and good things. And I think a lot of modern day witchcraft is more like that. But, yeah, I mean, if you have negative energy and you're trying to, like, hurt someone or hex someone, that dark energy is gonna manifest itself, you know, so.
And I want to say, too, I don't know if, like, voodoo and witchcraft, I should have looked up if they're really related, because I know that voodoo, like, I don't know, it's a different practice, so I think
it's still kind of witchy.
Yeah, but I don't want to, like, speak on it, because there are people that, like, do it and practice it, and it's more for, like, healing, so I don't know. I should have looked more into voodoo, specifically. My bad, looked into the voodoo dolls, but anyways, that was something interesting with voodoo dolls, New Orleans, stuff like that. But, okay, what's your Googling thing?
Oh, yeah, okay. So, it's just funny that you said you, like, saw it on 2 different websites, because this weekend, Jordan kept telling me some, like, crazy shit that just seemed so far-fetched, and, like, he just said it so matter-of-factly that he was like, but so the main example is, like, one day he was like, did you know it costs, like, because I was talking about how we wanted my mom to buy that bar.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, oh, that's expensive. Did you know it costs, like, almost, like, $200,000 to get a liquor license? I was like, no, it doesn't, Jordan. I was like, but he said it, like, so, like, he knew. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, someone told me, because they were a bartender, and they worked somewhere, and, like, knew the owners pretty well. And apparently it costs, like, $200,000 to get your, like, registration and stuff. I was like, no, it doesn't. So literally, I immediately just pull out my phone and Google it, and it's like, no, it costs $2,000. And he's like, oh. I'm like, and then he told me so many other things like that, and I would just, like, Google it, like, you're like, no, that's not true. And I'm like, you need to start fact-checking people, dude. Like, well, you can't just believe everything everyone tells you.
I feel like nowadays, because I do that all the time, I'll hear something in a video, and then I'm like, that's just, that's true. And I'll, like, quote it to Cody. I'm like, I heard this. I mean, I always preface with, like, I heard this. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
But,
I'm such a fact checker. Like, even if I hear something on, like, a video or something, they're like, did you know that this happened? I'm like, did it? Like, I immediately just pull out my phone and Google it. Because, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't have trust issues or something, but.
That's so funny. I'm always just like, probably.
I tend not to.
As long as I preface it, if I ever say it again, like, this could or could not be true, then I, like, don't really have a problem relaying it.
Maybe I just have to know for myself. I'm like, and I found out. I gotta find out.
You gotta know.
I don't
Interesting.
know.
Anyways, back to witches. Circling back from liquor licenses. Okay, actually, no. I'm gonna go back to this. There's a bar in Bountiful that's been, like, empty for a couple years now.
Like, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I think it went out of business during COVID, but we really want Taven's mom to buy it, and we want to be the bartenders, so.
Because it's
a new dream.
I went inside before they closed down, and it's cute. Like, it's got, like, it's a big open space, and has a lot of potential, and that would be the dream. It's just me and Addie just working together as bartenders, and I told my mom she would just have to financially run us, and then we would be, like, the managers. Like,
what did your mom say? Is she gonna do it?
No.
Okay, well.
She said maybe if it's still open in, like, another year.
What a ruined dream.
But
okay, now we can go back to witches, officially.
Yeah.
So, watch the originals, watch the Vampire Diaries. The one I was going to mention was The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Good.
Actually, I think on Netflix it's just called Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I don't think they have Teenage Witch on there.
No.
But it's based off Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, and it's just like a more modern one. It's so good. It is such a good show. I think it's so fun. The costumes are so fun. They're always like, Hail Satan, or what do they say? Because they say, Good Lord. They do the opposite of if you're like,
they're like,
oh, instead of like,
thank the Dark Lord or something.
Thank God. They're like, thank Satan.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really fun. I think
that one of the aunts is like the girl from Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, Eowyn from Lord of the Rings.
I love her character.
She's one of the aunts of
fun.
Sabrina. It's just, I think, such a cute little show. It's kind of spooky. I think
it's got some dark vibes to it.
There's like 4 seasons. I do have to say I didn't love the last season, and I didn't love how it ended. But
I don't remember how it ended.
The first season, so good, so fun, because it's like Sabrina, she's living in the regular world, but then she starts going to witch school, so she's going back and forth between like witch school and regular school. Yeah.
So spooky.
It is spooky.
Like that would be so fun.
I liked there's like these 3 girls. They're not sisters, but they
call themselves sisters.
They call themselves sisters. They're mean. They're mean girls.
I love the main girl.
Yeah, it just has really good characters. I think it's a really fun Halloween watch.
Yeah.
good
I
stories.
might rewatch it, yeah.
I know. There's one episode that's so spooky because they have this, like, demon that Sabrina releases on accident in her house, and then, like, their house is all dark and big, and this demon's running around in it. That's, like, the sleep demon or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember? That episode actually really scared me.
Didn't Sabrina end up being, like, Satan's daughter or something?
Yeah, she's, like, Lucifer's daughter. She
what
becomes,
a
like,
plot twist. The Queen of Hell.
That's further in the series. Sorry, that's, like, a big spoiler, but, you know.
We warned you the first episode.
We told you, spoilers galore.
Spoilers abound.
But I think that's, like, a really fun witch show. It's, yeah, just good for spooky season.
For some reason, every time I think of that show, I think of you and Cody getting together because of when we went up to Logan and we watched it up at his house.
We did?
Yeah.
I do not remember that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time that I went with you up there, so the big time where we slept over at his house, we were on the couch in his living room.
Yeah.
We were watching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina together.
That is so crazy. I don't
so that
remember.
always reminds me of that.
How fun! How fun! Yeah, it's a good show. It has like Ross Lynch in it and Kiernan Shipka.
Every time, I don't know how you know so many actor names.
I am so good at knowing actor names.
You are. Every time you're like, oh, it has this guy in it. I'm like, just tell me who they are in another movie. Like, be like, oh, it's this guy from that movie. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just really good at remembering names. There's actually this really fun game. I'm gonna put you all on this game right now. If you have friends that watch a lot of movies, probably a lot of you have played it, but it's like 7 Degrees or something. I think it's called 7 Degrees. But you pick 2 actors or actresses, and then you have 7 movies to connect them through other actors and actresses. So if you did like Meryl Streep and Robert Downey Jr., they might be in a movie together that I just can't think of right now.
Okay.
But you could do like, oh, Meryl Streep is in The Devil Wears Prada with Anne Hathaway, and Anne Hathaway is in this movie with this person, and this person is in this movie with Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
So you have to like connect them by the movies, and it's a really fun game.
I would suck at that game.
I used to play it with my coworker when I worked up in Park City, but he was, well, he still is. He's like 20 years older than me. He was my only coworker. So we just would know such different movies and such different actors.
Yeah. That could work well if you guys were on like a team though.
That could.
Yeah.
If we had anyone else to play with.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just do it to pass time though. It was like a fun game.
That's so funny.
So, anyways, just a fun little thing you can do. Alright, you want to talk about...
Well, yeah, because the original, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, was one of my favorite shows growing up. I was seriously so obsessed with it. I remember, like, being at my grandma's house and just, like, yeah, obsessively watching this show. But it was just so cute, it was so fun, and, like, I had even a PC game that was based on the show that was... Yeah, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I would just, like, walk around, like, the high school in her house with my little cat Salem following me, and it's so cute, and it's so good.
Has Melissa Joan Hart in it. That's who it stars.
I don't know who that is.
Did you know there was a cartoon version?
Yeah, I watched that too.
You watched that too?
Yeah.
I always saw...
That's what the video game was the cartoon version.
Oh, I always liked... I mean, I never watched it. I didn't have cable, and I feel like my mom probably wouldn't have let me watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch. For the witch stuff.
Too dark. Too
Satan. Yeah, we'll let bad spirits in our house or something. But I always would see the little cartoon, and she had her little, like, pink outfit.
Yeah.
And her little cat, and she cast spells and stuff. I was like, I want to watch that show.
Yeah. I think that's probably the one I watched more was the cartoon version, but I did like the real version. It did have, like, a very, like, 80s sitcom vibe to it, though.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm, like, remembering this wrong, but, like, one episode, someone was like, this cat is fake. And it was, like, literally showing, like, the cat as, like, an animatronic doll instead of, like, real cat, because the cat talks. Salem talks. And so it was just so weird. It's so goofy. So funny.
I know Britney Spears guest starred on that show, because I've seen clips of that.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's unlocking some deep memories right now. That's
just
crazy.
Another fun witchy thing you can get into if you're into that.
I don't know where you could find that now, but...
Well, you could probably, get it on Amazon or YouTube or something, but...
Yeah.
Should we get into some historical witch lore?
Yeah.
The witch lore?
You looked into it a little more than I did, so...
Yeah, I was looking into some witch lore. Maybe we'll start with, like, kind of witch representations, like what, there's the hat, the broomstick, and the cat. Those are, like, commonly associated with witches.
Yeah.
So we did a little research to find out why. I kind of knew the cat thing, and I told Taven last week.
It's so fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and I'll go over some of the other ones, but one of the big reasons cats started to be associated with witches was kind of during the Black Plague. And again, I'm not a freaking PhD or PDH. I'm also dyslexic.
I'm not a PDF file.
I'm not a PDF researcher. Okay, I'm just a girl. I don't have a PDF in witches.
Not a historian.
Yeah. So if I'm wrong, take it as it is. Everyone on the internet is wrong about something. But during the bubonic plague, that we know now that it was spread by rats, by the fleas in rats, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of women owned cats, and the cats would chase the rats and the mice and then kill them. So then a lot of women weren't getting affected by the plague in the same way that men were. And it was these women with cats. So then people were like, oh my gosh, they're a witch, because they're not getting sick and everyone else is getting sick. So the cat started to be associated with witches from that, which I thought was interesting.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You just have a cat and you're just killing the rats and everyone's like, she's a witch. And I'm like, no, please.
Actually, I have no idea why I'm not sick, but...
I'll get sick. Come on, I'll get sick too. I'm not a witch. And then some of the other things I found were that cats, part of the association, witchcraft, it was seen traditionally as being associated with the devil. It was, people were being accused who were anti-church, things like that in Europe a long time ago. But so it was seen as devilish, and cats became associated with witches because they were nocturnal. So it kind of became this association with the supernatural, and cats are very independent. So people thought cats are evil and witches are evil.
Because they're independent.
Yeah, pretty much was what I read. It was like cats got that association. And then also the association came from familiars, like the idea that witches have little animals or imps that are their attendants, do their bidding, and people have cats, so little...
I feel like I could get my cat to do my bidding, probably.
I could get neither of my cats to do my bidding.
That's true, they are very independent.
Your cats are such little hoes for you, though.
I know. They literally, wait, because, okay, slight side tangent. I have, a snack shelf in my room, because I love me some snacks. I love a good treat. But my one cat is, really old. I think it's, 14 or 15 now. But he's kind of gone feral in his old age, and he literally will just, if I'm not looking, he will, bite into any snack. He will rip through
crazy. He did that with a muffin the other day. I had a muffin in a bag in here, and he, tore through the Ziploc bag.
Until he could get to the muffin. And, yeah, anytime I have anything in my trash, he'll, knock over my whole trash can and dig through it until he finds, even just a crumb. And so I don't let my cats in the other cat, I have pictures hanging on my wall. So that cat will literally bite the thumbtack and pull it out of the wall, and then start chewing on my pictures. I'm like, these are my precious memories.
That is so crazy. I didn't know your cat did that.
Oh, really? It's so funny, because, at first she would just, play with them, how cats do.
Now she's,
but now she's, smart. She literally just,
that is
pulls
so
the thumbtack out of the wall, and then she starts, chewing on my pictures. So, yeah, anyway, I don't let my cats into my room anymore. I wish I could, because I love sleeping with them. I love them, but they're just too much of a nuisance, so they literally just, both will, wait outside my door, and, I'll open the door, and they're just, both just right there looking for me.
Yeah, they love Taven so much. My cats, maybe they would be Cody's familiar if Cody was a witch.
Your cats love Cody.
My cats are hoes for Cody, but they're, they, tolerate me.
Maybe Cody's a witch.
You know something my cat's been doing? Here's a side note about my little familiar, my little cat. We just got a new litter box in our bedroom for her because our other cat, bullies her at the litter boxes in the other part of our home. And so we're we don't want her to pee on stuff, so we got her this little safe one in our room. And she doesn't pee in it that much. She's been sleeping in it.
What?
So she doesn't pee in there. She sleeps in there. I'm like, get out of the...
That's crazy!
So mad. I'm like, stop sleeping in your litter box. Go sleep literally anywhere else in this house.
That's wild. Maybe you should get her... We got my cat one of those little, box,
That's
cat
what
houses.
we're gonna get. Yeah. I told Cody, I'm like, we gotta get a little enclosed sleep space because I do not want her sleeping in her litter box.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'll just, see her in there. I'm like, get out. And I, usher her out. And there's no pee in there. So that's, good. But I'm like, I don't want you to sleep sleeping in this litter.
Yeah.
Like a little demon, a little poo demon.
I love when you, like, are in the dark or something and your cats, you can just see their glowing eyes just, like, staring out at you. It's so spooky.
It is spooky.
But I love it.
So, that's how cats are related to, Witches. I was like, what
the hell are we talking about?
What am I talking about right now?
What is this episode even about?
The other thing, another reason that they're associated, and I wanted to touch on this, is from Greek mythology, black cats were linked to Hecate. I was about to say Hecate.
Oh.
Hecate or Hecate. I told Taven, I was like, when I was reading it today, I'm like, Hecate. She's like, Hecate? And I'm like, I guess. I was like, I knew I was pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah, again, I'm not super versed in, like, Greek mythology or anything either, so Addie said Hecate. I was like, have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
When you said Hecate, I was like, I'm so sure that that's it.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I would tell myself, I'm like, I know Hecate is not right, but then I would think Hecate. And I'm like, that's not right either. I know that's not right. I don't know why I couldn't think Hecate. But Hecate, she was the goddess of magic, sorcery, the moon, and witchcraft.
Yeah.
And she was associated with black cats. So, obviously.
And she's a big character in this book that we're reading.
Yes, we wanted to bring that up. If you guys are going to do our book club with us, Touch of Darkness, we've mentioned it on the last 2 podcasts. We've both finished the book.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to talk about it probably in like a month. Probably after Halloween, I think.
After Halloween.
Maybe we could do it before Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how time goes.
That's a long time from now.
Well, some people take longer
I'll forget
to read.
about it by then.
Are you kidding? I can never forget about this book.
Well, yeah.
I would give it a 12 out of 10 recommendation. It's a must read.
12 out of 10?
Was it good?
That's crazy.
No. Must you read it? Yes. But, Hecate, she's like a big character in there, so I guess in the Hades and Persephone story, like in traditional mythology, she helps Persephone, like, she helps guide her either out of or into the underworld during her 6 months.
She kind of does in this book, too.
Yeah, but things are pretty different in this book. It's a very loose Hades and Persephone interpretation.
No spoilers at all, because I want you guys to read it and experience it for yourselves, but before Addie read it, I was telling her and Cody about this scene that I read. It's jarring. And I was, like, describing it, and Addie literally, like, starts screaming and, like, runs behind a door and just, like, hides behind the door. She's like, no!
I was like, I cannot believe I'm gonna have to read that.
Cody's reactions were so funny. It's me, Hades, the Lord of the Dead, doing this.
But we're excited to talk about it. We hopefully we'll have a guest on for that episode.
Yeah.
We haven't asked them yet, but if you're listening, we might be hitting you up.
We might be asking you.
You don't know who you are, but, you know.
Could be anyone.
We'll see if you want to come discuss it with us. Because, you know, we asked everyone who's going to read along, so.
Yeah.
Picked someone from the read along. We want them to come talk about it with us.
I thought it was fun. I bought the second book, and I'm excited to read the second book.
It was fun, but it was terrible. It was terrible writing. It was, like, not good. Anyways.
If you're listening to this, the author of that book, really sorry.
I'm glad you put yourself out there, and I'm glad I could read it. But
you got published.
You got published. Good for you. Anyways, so Hecate, she also had that association with black cats.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. Next, we will talk about the hats. Because I didn't know this, and I thought it was so interesting. But so the hats, some say that it came from alewife hats.
Yeah.
Like the association with witches. What is an alewife hat, you might ask?
You might wonder.
Well, let me just read this little paragraph. Some say that witch hats originated as alewife hats, which were distinctive headgear worn by women who homebrewed beer for sale. The brewing industry, which was dominated by men, accused alewives of selling tainted or diluted beer. This, combined with the suspicion that women with knowledge of herbology were working in a occult domain, could have led to the association of alewife hats with witchcraft.
Just real quick, I love that anytime a woman tries to do something independent on her own, without a man, Witch. Burn her.
Burn her, witch.
God.
Taven and I were talking about that as we were looking into kind of like history of witches and even like the associations with the hats, the broomsticks, the cats. I feel like so much of it was just about control.
Yeah.
And especially because, you know, I feel like modern day witchcraft, like people I've met who do claim to be witches or practice witchcraft, it's a lot more like positive and it's like helpful and it's really a lot more about being like in tune with nature.
Yeah.
But when you look at, like, historical witchcraft, if you were accused of being a witch, you were evil, and it was used to punish you.
Very dark, yeah, satanic. I don't know. Wasn't it, like, kind of associated with, like, it's like a pagan practice, too? Like...
Yes. Let me actually read you. We'll get into some more history.
Okay.
This was said to be... Okay, historian Ronald Hutton, he was an English historian born in the 50s. He's still alive. He's like 70 today. Wait, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I have to do my math on that.
Hold on.
Historian Ronald Hutton outlined 5 key characteristics attributed to witches and witchcraft by most cultures that believe in this concept. So this is like general witchcraft. The use of magic to cause harm or misfortune to others. It was used by the witch against their own community. Powers of witchcraft were believed to have been acquired through inheritance or initiation. It was seen as immoral and often thought to involve communion with evil beings. And witchcraft could be thwarted by defensive magic, persuasion, intimidation, or physical punishment of the alleged witch. So, yeah, it was, I mean, I guess I didn't look too much into, like, pagan rituals.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about that. Is that just witchcraft? Are they the same thing?
I don't know. I know it's an association with it for sure, but I'm not sure of the specifics or anything about that.
But it was definitely seen as being evil. And another thing I read too, let me read it. I'm going to pull it up. I'm just going to read so much stuff.
Remind me that I have 2 pop culture references that I just remembered.
Okay.
About witches.
I'll just read this quick thing. Anthropologist Jean Lafontaine notes that such accusations of witchcraft, were mainly made against enemies of the church. So, female enemies of the church, people who did not believe. And this was the English, I mean, what was that, the Church of England? I think, is that what it was at the time?
I don't know, because actually, you know what, the only, history is like my worst subject, I'm not very good at it, and I did take like AP history and stuff, European history and stuff, and I've always been so bad with dates and stuff like that, but the biggest thing that I learned from, about history is from Assassin's Creed, which are actually very historically accurate games. Very well-researched games.
We went through one of the tutorials in an art history course in college because our professor thought it was so accurate to her research at the time. This was like the French Revolution one. So she had us play through it in class.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've played all the Assassin's Creed games. They're one of my favorite games, franchises, whatever, of all time. But the thing that I learned most about that, actually, is that because I played this in Valhalla, is when the Vikings came over to England from, I want to say Norway, but I don't feel like that's right. I
feel like Norway's right.
Yeah,
Vikings
that general area.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so yeah, when they came over, predominant religion was, like, Catholicism and Christianity was kind of developing at the time. And the Vikings, like, had this new home. They didn't want to get persecuted because they believed in, like, their Norse gods and stuff. Zeus and... No,
Norse gods.
Zeus. Loki and
Thor
and all of those people, So they, quickly switched religions to Catholicism because, it was so big there that everyone was, like, getting burnt or getting persecuted because of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, wait, what? I want to do your pop culture references, but then I have another religious,
I had more to say, but I just totally lost my train of thought, like...
Do you want me to say my thought while you get yours back? Okay. This was something interesting and relevant. You know, we're in Utah, and Mormonism is a relevant thing to this. I'll start back on my story. My only, I guess, association with witchcraft for most of my life, or, like, experience with it, was I got a tarot card reading once at a comic convention, and I came home, and my mom was like, how was the convention? I'm like, oh, it was fun, I got a tarot card reading, and she got so mad at me. She was like, that is evil, like, I can't believe you did that. And I was like, it was kind of like the ghost thing I shared last week when I had a freaking Ouija party in 7th grade, you know, I was like, well, no one told me that in our religion we believe this is, like, bad. Because I was still practicing at the time, the LDS religion, but, this is kind of, like, in association to witchcraft, I guess. I think more modern witchcraft, more contemporary witchcraft, I was telling Taven, I feel like people associate it a lot with, like, maybe holistic healing, crystals, divination, herbs, things like that. Like, a lot more connected to nature and things like that. But I was watching this TikTok a while ago, and it was this lady, she is LDS, she's Mormon, and she's talking about Mormons being mean to people who kind of believe in modern witchcraft stuff, like power of crystals or things, you know, whatever. And she was like, remember, some of the things that you believe are kind of crazy. And she kind of goes through some of these LDS beliefs because they are crazy. Like, he looked at a rock and a hat and stuff. You know, like, they don't seem very traditional. And so she was just saying, like, you know, don't judge, because if you look at it from the outside, a lot of our beliefs can sound crazy as well. Yeah. So that was the whole video. But I was reading through the comments, and someone had said, you know, a lot of church beginnings actually were very based in, like, kind of occult practices. Yeah. Or, like, even Joseph Smith translating from a rock and a hat. She was kind of saying what the rock was. I know someone said it was, like, this type of crystal that is related to, like, divination or something like that. I don't know if that's true. But someone else commented, and they were like, a lot of church practices started with these beliefs, but now they're really looked down on and discouraged by the church. But they were like, why is that? Because women are the traditional practicers of them. And then women can have the power. Shit. I was like, damn.
Damn indeed.
Kind of agree. Anyways.
That's crazy.
Religion is always putting down witchcraft.
Actually, yeah, I didn't know too much about the association with religion and witchcraft before. I was like, is it even associated at all?
Yeah, she even said that today when I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of focused more on, like, Christianity and witchcraft. She's like, is it associated with that? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's why witches...
I guess it makes sense, yeah, because if you're associating witchcraft with, like, the devil and Satan and stuff, kind of has to tie in, so...
Exactly. It's just the other side of it.
True.
Did you remember your pop culture references?
Yeah, no, I did. I remembered those. There was something more I wanted to say about Assassin's Creed. But I literally just, like, I don't know.
The train just derailed.
It literally just is, like, I'm talking and I'm, like, going, and then just all of a sudden it's just, like, my mind is, like, nothing. Just, like, a black desert, and I'm like...
Yeah.
Huh.
You're like, what?
But, so, I don't know. I've been recommending this show to you for a while, and I feel like you really need to watch it, because it actually has a lot more references to witches than I remember. But Outlander.
Yeah.
It's kind of, no crazy spoilers, but the basis of it is this girl, she, like, touches a rock and accidentally gets, like, transported back in time.
These,
to, like,
damn magic rocks.
Yeah, for real. But to the time of, like, the Highlanders and stuff, and... It's so good. It's so good. It's just crazy, just passionate. It does teach you a lot, too. Maybe that's what I like, is anything that I feel like teaches me a little bit in entertainment, because I hate learning, like, in, like, a school vibe, but...
Disgusting.
In a TV show or a video game, I'm there for it. But, yeah, there's this one girl that she meets, that is a witch, but she's, like, trying desperately to hide, because this was also at a time when witches were being burned and stuff, and... So then she becomes friends with this girl, and her association with this girl gets her accused of being a witch, and they both, like, are in this church, and they're getting, like, burned at the... Is it called a stake? Okay, yeah, like I think maybe I'm watching too much Vampire Diaries, because now I'm just thinking of a stake to the heart.
But, yeah, burned at the stake.
Yeah, they both are, like, about to get burned at the stake, but then, like, last minute this girl gets, like, transported. It's so crazy, but then she's, like, bathing in blood, and she's, like, dancing naked under the full moon, and it's just...
That's some witch shit.
Yeah, it's so crazy, but you need to watch it. It's so good.
Okay.
And then the other one I thought of, I think... Was it a video game? I don't know. I don't remember. You talk about something, I'll think about it.
Oh my gosh, you're really putting me on the spot here. Well...
My mind is just a blank, empty space today that I'm trying to traverse through.
It's because I put a spell on you. I'm actually
damn it. Let me look up some spells to put on you real quick.
We have a little spell book on our desk. No, I was gonna say regarding, like, the broomsticks, that was kind of the other witch association. Because we talked about the hats and the cats. Cats and hats. Cat in the hat? A witch? A warlock? Anyways. So, the broomsticks, I feel like they're...
It's The Witcher.
Oh my gosh, I've seen The Witcher.
It's the Witcher.
You're so crazy.
Literally has the word witch in it.
Yeah.
Because that's, I don't know, if it even shows it in the TV show, and I know you haven't gotten very far into the video game.
Bathe in oh my god.
Bathe in moon.
She does not bathe in moon.
No, it's actually just, it's set in the time period where, like, massive, like, witch burnings were happening. Oh. Because, in the video game, you're, like, walking around this main town, and, like, all this smoke is coming up, and you're like, what's going on? And you talk to your, like, witch friends that are in hiding. They're like, in the tunnels of
That's crazy. I feel like it did not show that on the TV show because they have like the school for the mages, and I feel like you're seen as more of like a powerful person, and then you get assigned to like the courts and stuff.
That's true, yeah. In the video games, it's very, like, yeah, they have to go into hiding and escape on these secret ships, but...
Yeah, I could not get past, like, the tutorial of the video game. It's really not my style of video game.
No, it's not. And I didn't think it would be Cody's either, but I just wanted you guys to get into it so bad.
I think Cody would like it if he started it, but when we started playing, I was the one doing the tutorial, and so then, like, we got into it, and I feel like Cody didn't know a lot of the controls and stuff. Because I skip through like, when it tells me the controls, I'm like, does it look like I give a fuck?
I'll figure it out.
And then I can't figure it out, and then I'm like, I hate this game.
This is so hard. This is so stupid.
This is stupid. But, yeah, the witches in that, it's more of like a school, and then magic is more like revered in the TV show, but I guess, yeah, the video game is different.
Yeah, it's like literally you're, trying to help these witches escape, and they're just like mass burning witches, and it's crazy. So, it's another recommendation. It's one of my favorite. Actually, it probably is my number one favorite video game of all time.
Yeah, haven't you played it multiple times?
Yeah, it's the only video game I've ever played more than once, and I've played it like 4 or 5 times now, because it's so good.
Yeah, I would not recommend it as a video game, but that's just me.
You're not a big gamer, though.
No, I'm not. I feel like Mario Party is like the most intense video game I'll play. Actually, Luigi's Mansion, that one, I finished the game. So,
yeah,
there was something. Video games, they don't enchant me.
I actually flipped open to a really interesting page.
Okay.
So, what's your, do we want to talk about broomstick stuff?
Oh, yeah, broomsticks. This is quick, because I couldn't find anything really set in it, but I guess there were some, like, marriage ceremonies that involved broomsticks, and kind of represented, like, it said the handle represents men, and the bristles represent women, and they were using, like, marriage ceremonies, so kind of these more, like, religious ceremonies would use brooms, and then they started getting associated with witches. I'm not sure why they thought witches were flying. I didn't get that far in the research, because then we started, like, trying on our hats, so, honestly, it just
started just thinking how cute we are.
So, someone can look up the broomsticks and send us a little info on that.
Yeah, someone last week, the week before, left a huge long comment on our YouTube video about the origins of Lilith and how she's associated with vampires, and that was awesome. That was super fun to learn. So
they were actually being mean to us. They're like, "You dumb idiots!
Did you actually know that this is really what you should have been talking about?"
That was so sweet. Thank you for letting us know.
I do like when people know things. Like, one of my favorite things actually in the world is to listen to people talk about something that they're really passionate about. I think it's so fun. I'm gonna choke. Okay. Kind of a severe Celsius.
Yes. Are you sure? It's super caffeinated. I have my water.
I know it is. Where?
Over there on the floor.
But I'd have to be out of frame.
Okay. I'll have to be out of frame.
Just a wee little sip.
That's crazy. Okay. Taven's like off caffeine, and you're not.
Yeah, that sip might kill me. I'll have some energy for pickleball later, though.
That's true. Read us your spell.
It actually, no, it's not even a spell. It's just, it was funny as we were just talking about this, but top 5 mystical babes.
Babes?
Yeah.
Oh, like women? I was thinking babe, like Jesus the baby. Like
the babies.
Would Jesus count as a mystical babe?
Probably. He was kind of a mystical little baby.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The Son of God? That's mystical.
That's mystical as shit. Whether you're looking for motivation, creativity, or quick confidence boost.
Look at Mike Tyson.
Rude. These mythical chicks have all the attitude and magical know-how you'll need. Hecate, Greek goddess of witches and women.
Oh, we already said that.
Firm but fair, she'll help you stand your ground and overcome challenging obstacles.
Love that.
I don't know if this is Bast or Bast.
Let me see.
But it's Egyptian.
Okay.
But Egyptian goddess and protector of cats and women, known for her love of music and dance. She'll help you express yourself and find your voice. Freya, Norse goddess of love, beauty, and war. Leader of a kick-ass tribe of women known as the Valkyries. Call on her for courage and charm. And then Ceridwen, Celtic. Celtic mother, goddess, and keeper of the cauldron of wisdom. This powerful enchantress assists in all matters of magic and can give your spells the edge.
Ooh.
How interesting. Keeper of the cauldron of wisdom.
A little
That's
edge,
so
a little
fun.
kick. I love how women, I feel like a lot of witch figures are associated with cats and dancing. I think women just love cats and dancing.
Yeah, honestly.
And that's just
I love cats and
woman thing.
dancing.
Me too.
Am I a witch?
Oh my gosh, when we do our little dancing video, we should hold your cats.
Oh my god. That would actually fit so well.
That'd be so cute. Yeah.
I just had another fucking thought that just...
Taven,
right
we're gonna have to do a whole
brain.
extra episode on every thought that Taven lost about witches today.
Just a little blooper reel.
I don't know, I just feel like... Oh, the other thing I wanted to... I don't know, I think witches and ghosts, we did ghosts last week, they're so connected. I was telling Taven, almost every recommendation I had for a ghost movie, it was like a ghost that was a witch, so I like didn't want to see some of them, I was saving some. I guess because witches, you know, they are connected maybe with like spiritualism.
The afterlife maybe a little bit.
Afterlife, so you think they can, or you can make a curse on yourself to live longer and hunt people down. Like, we just watched Tarot.
Yeah.
And that movie, it's all about a witch who, like, cursed her tarot cards so she could live long and kill people. You know? But
I actually thought of you know, have you ever seen, like, those, like, Tumblr posts or, like, sayings that girls would post and be like, we are the granddaughters of the witches that you did not burn.
No, I've never seen that.
Is that not the cringiest thing you've ever heard in your life? I hated it. Every time someone would post that, they'd like have it be their cover photo on Facebook. I'd be like, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Stop.
It's so cringy.
What was the book about, like, the Salem witch trials? Was that The Crucible?
I don't even know what that is.
It wasn't The Scarlet Letter. I think it's The Crucible. You never read that in high school? Oh, it's a book about the witch trials, essentially, in this little community. And there's some hoe out there. Some hoe, she, like, accuses everyone. She's like, I saw Sarah Ann dancing naked with the devil. She doesn't talk like that. But, you know, she's, like, accusing everyone else of witchcraft, just getting all these women killed and stuff.
Why?
I don't know, because she's a hoe. She's a hater. She ain't a girl's girl. She's, like, a pick-me girl. She's out there.
The original pick-me girl.
Yeah. There's actually this funny, like, TikToker, and she kind of does little videos like that, and she's like, pick me girls in the 1600s.
Oh, yeah, you sent me some of these.
And it's pretty similar to that, but I'm pretty sure that's The Crucible. God, I remember reading that in high school.
Yeah, I did not go to a typical high school,
yeah,
so...
Taven taught sacred geometry at her high school. Which school?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, our curriculum was very loose. All we had to do was get the credits somehow. So, yeah, for my math credit one year, I offered to lead and teach a sacred geometry class.
That was their math credit for the year?
Not for the whole year.
Oh, okay.
For the quarter.
For the quarter?
Yeah.
That's so
Actually,
crazy.
I think we did mini quarters. So, yeah, we would not do... Yeah, we'd do, like, half of a quarter. So we would do, like...
An eighth?
4, yeah.
That's crazy.
4 different things every semester. So 8 for the whole year.
That makes more sense, because I'm like, how much are you really teaching on sacred geometry?
Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot. But yeah, we did like cooking classes, rock climbing classes. I traveled the world in high school. I went to Vietnam and Nicaragua. Crazy.
And then didn't know the difference between fiction and nonfiction upon graduation. I'll always give you shit for that.
I don't know why that one gets me, because every time I think about it, I'm like, hey, fiction, fake. So nonfiction, real. But it's just like I have to map it out in my head every time.
It's like the left and the right for me.
Yeah.
It just always gets me, because the conversation when you said that, it was like during COVID, and I remember you're saying, you're like, my dream job is to be like a college professor of poetry. And I was like, oh yeah, you could go to school and get your master's. You're like, I just don't think I need my master's to teach poetry. I think I could just teach it right now. And then in that same conversation, I said something about fiction, and you're like, you didn't know the difference between fiction and nonfiction. I'm like, buddy, no.
Go get your master's degree. Right the fuck
If you're
now.
gonna teach a poetry course, I feel you should know the difference between fiction and nonfiction.
Yeah, I feel like I've always had like, well, because when I was in school, I was like a smart kid. Don't mean to brag, but I skipped a grade, and then I also did like all the like advanced like honors and AP and all of those classes. And so I feel like when I like stopped doing that, I did a very non-traditional school experience, because yeah, the last 2 years of high school I went to that hippie high school.
The witch high school.
It was called Realms of Inquiry, and I actually
Realms. That's a total witch school. You went to a witch school.
You know what? I actually would 100% recommend it. If traditional education is not your thing, if you're feeling depressed and, like, you want to drop out and, like, you're skipping class every day, I would recommend it because it really changed my life for the better. I don't think I would be the person I am now without it. But then immediately after I went to community college, I went to Salt Lake Community College and just took, like, a bunch of random electives. I did, like, publication and poetry and interior design, so that's kind of my experience with education. It's just, random shit like that. But that poetry class was my favorite class of all time. I was like, this is what I want to do when I grow up. I want to be my professor. She was so cool. I was on the radio with her once.
Yeah, I loved my professors in college. I always wanted to be them.
That's what I feel like. College professors are so much more, like, laid back and just, like, chill and, like, that's what
my professors were
not.
Really? They were like, you better call me doctor.
Really?
It's doctor to you. I'm like, okay.
Oh, interesting.
But they were so, like, I feel like art history, it's very entrenched in academia. Like, it's a very research-heavy pursuit.
Yeah.
And it's honestly kind of snooty. I feel like some people are kind of snooty. And my professors...
It seems like it would be.
So the professors are like, you're gonna call me doctor. I have a freaking PhD. You're gonna call me doctor,
they
professor.
Earned it.
They earned it, so I didn't have a problem with it. But I was like, wow, they're, like, so smart. They're cool. They have a lot of authority, I felt. I was like, that's cool. Good for them. I love that. I want a lot of authority.
Maybe, it was just because it was community college, but I always felt like my professors were so chill. I was like, God, that's how I want to teach. Like, I want to be a chill professor.
I had some that were chill for sure, like my Italian professor.
Yeah.
Who I loved. I was in love with him.
Whoa.
He was only, like, 30. I was 19.
Men are so sexy, though.
What?
Was he Italian?
No, he wasn't Italian.
Oh,
he, like, served his mission in Italy. I think that was, like, my assumption. But he spoke Italian and French, and he was just handsome.
Oh my gosh.
He's like a handsome guy. All of us loved him. We were like, he's so cute. But then I didn't like him the last semester because he was late to class every day. And then one day he chewed us out because some students were like, he's like, you guys are so late and that's so disrespectful of my time. And I was like, brother,
interesting.
My brother in Christ, you've been late every single day, like 20 minutes late to the class you're teaching. And it pissed me off. I'm like, if I'm showing up at 8 a.m., you sure as hell better be here at 8 a.m.
I just got a real grudge against lateness. Maybe that's where it started, was with that professor. And then transferred onto me.
No, it started my whole life. Because let me tell you, in Taven, here's what it is. If you set a time, it is disrespectful to everyone else to be late. It shows that you think your time is more valuable than theirs. And you can say whatever excuses you want, but that is what you're portraying to everyone else. That your time, your experience, your life, it's just more important than theirs. Sorry I was an hour late. Sorry I wasn't ready on time. I just didn't care about your time. I knew you'd be ready because you set a time. I just didn't care.
You make it seem so harsh.
Because it is.
That's not, as a late person who was chronically late to everything.
Like, hours late to everything.
That is not what is going through my head when I am late. I hope you know that.
But that's how it feels after 5 years. Okay, we're getting in a fight on air.
Title of this podcast, Addie and Taven get a huge fight. Podcast and friendship over. Because
here's the thing. Being on time is not hard. It's not that hard. And I'm not saying, again, 5 to 10 minutes late, that's not a big deal.
You don't know, because you're not a late person.
But here's my issue. Here's my issue. When it happens, every time we hang out for like 6 months, and I'm like, Taven, this is really bothering me. And then the next time we hang out, it still happens, and you're like, I just never woke up. I'm like, set a fucking alarm, dude. Like, you're saying that it's not even worth it to set an alarm to try and be on time?
I don't know why time is such a big thing with me, actually. Like, the whole road trip this weekend, I, like, kept thinking, I'm like, okay, now I'm an hour and 45 minutes away. Like, I just kept, like, calculating the time.
I didn't even know you could calculate time. I didn't even know you could do that.
I don't know, I feel like my time is so precious to me, maybe, that I feel like I don't want to, like... Because this morning, Addie texts me, and I'm like, when are you going to be here? She's like, I'll be there in 15 to 20 minutes. And then she gets here in 10 minutes. And I was like, I thought I had more time. I'm not even ready.
Which is crazy, because I got here at 11:03, and I told her yesterday I will be there at 11.
Around 11.
Oh my gosh. And every week we film at 11, so I'm like, why are you just waking up at 11? You should have been up at 10 o'clock, gotten ready.
I was up at 10 o'clock.
You just didn't get ready.
My morning time is so valuable to me. I love waking up in the morning and being so cozy.
See, this is exactly what I'm saying. You're saying your time is more valuable than my time. Your comfort is more valuable than the effort I put in to get up and get ready and come over and be here on fucking time. Let us know. I'm so mad right now.
Okay, I'm gonna change the subject.
I'm gonna cast a spell on Taman tonight. Give me a time spell. I'm actually
gonna change
loving
the
this
subject.
No, don't.
Wait,
Okay, go change it.
But it was something that you just said about your Italian professor that I was like, oh, Ford men are so sexy. It actually just reminded me, because we
Does this have anything to do with witches or time?
No.
Okay.
We made this plan the other night to, the original plan was to spend a summer in France.
We're moving there for a year.
But yeah, now they want to go for a full year. But it was just funny because I was like telling my boyfriend about it. I was like, do you want to come to France? Do you want to come summer in France with us in 2 years? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then he actually brought it up this weekend. He like, are we actually going to do that? And I was like, yeah, we're actually going to do that. And he's like, I'm a little bit worried. I was like, and like, out of all the reasons I expected him to be worried, this was not it. He was like, I just feel like French men are so sexy. They're so romantic. And they're so fucking just... He's like, you're gonna leave me for one of them. You're gonna fall for a French guy over there, and you're not even gonna...
But French people hate Americans.
Yeah, it's true.
So none of the French people are even gonna like us. So he doesn't have anything to worry about.
And also, I wouldn't leave him for a French guy.
But even if
we're summering in
even
France.
if you wanted to, these French people hate us.
They don't want me.
No, the French people, I've heard they're mean.
True.
Sorry if you're French and you're listening, but I've heard you're not nice to Americans.
I actually just want to move to Europe to work less. Because I feel like...
You work like 2 days a week.
Yeah, that's my ideal schedule. But I feel like it's frowned upon here.
Okay, I still feel like French people work. I don't know what their work schedule is. We'll find out when we go to
I feel like the stereotype is that they're lazy, right? Like French people are lazy.
I have not heard that. No.
You've never heard that? No. That's a very popular stereotype, Addie.
I don't think it is. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? I've not heard that French people are lazy.
That's crazy. They talk about it like in like wars, like, oh, of course the French didn't do anything. And then even, like, on Modern Family, when they go to Paris, Claire's, like, past love is like, oh, yeah, I'm just such a workaholic now. I'm in the office maybe 15, 18 hours a week.
That's so funny. Yeah, I've never heard that. But
that's so funny. Okay. Anyway.
Well, I think we'll end. I have more to say about time management.
Well, okay, real quick.
Okay.
We did have a fan request this week.
Oh, we did? Well, I was going to end with our recommendations, and we could... Okay. Oh, but you've seen it, so you could talk about it.
Yeah, we had a fan request to talk about The Witch, which neither of us have seen. We said we were going to watch it this week. We didn't.
I almost watched it this morning, but I was like... that was it. That was the only thought.
But, yeah, and then the Blair Witch Project, which I have seen, and I was obsessed with in high school. Me and my friends would always get together and be like, let's watch the Blair Witch Project, because it's one of those, like, documentary-style horror films where they're like, we're going to the woods to go camping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, spooky shit starts happening, and they start getting abducted and killed and stuff, but it's really good, so would recommend that. It is kind of, like, not necessarily cheesy, but it's just a good, classic... Like, it's not too scary where the point where you're gonna have nightmares, but it's just fun. Like, it's fun to watch, especially with friends. And then, as referred to by our fan, the OG witches, the Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo.
And that was on my list. The Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo. We should do a screening party, because I haven't seen that one in years.
I haven't either. It's been too long.
But the Hex Girls, I downloaded that song on my Spooky Time playlist. We're the Hex Girls, and we're gonna put a spell on you. It's something like that. I just listened to it.
I don't know.
Anyways.
They were so attractive, though.
I feel like me, you, and Cody could dress up as the Hex Girls.
Oh my gosh. Or Cody could just be Scooby-Doo.
Cody could be Shaggy.
Yeah.
I actually, a couple of years ago for Halloween, one of my other friends, we were trying to think of a Halloween costume. There were 3 of us. Our friend who's a guy, he's blonde, and then me, I have my red hair, and my friend had dark hair, and we're like, oh my god, we should be the Hex Girls for Halloween. Obviously, my friend with the dark hair, she was gonna be like the main Hex Girl. I'm the redhead. But our friend who has the blonde hair, he had the same haircut as the blonde hex girl, because she has, like, a short kind of cut and puts it in ponytails.
Yeah.
But I was like, why does he actually look like this hex girl? Like the male version of this hex girl is so crazy.
Oh my god.
I was like, this is uncanny.
That's funny.
Amazing. Okay. Now we'll just list off our recommendations. And then I'm gonna have a candid heart-to-heart about time management.
No!
We won't put that on the podcast.
Oh, okay. I was like, God!
We'll put that on the close friends story on Instagram.
We just film us just having a talk about it.
Hey. Okay. Here were some of my recommendations for witch stuff. I put this on ghost stuff last week, but I'm gonna say it again. The Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. They are some of the best movies I've seen. I really, really like them, and it's witches and ghosts. Highly, highly recommend. Obviously, Harry Potter.
Obviously.
Witchy. I don't know. What month do you associate Harry Potter with? We were talking about this.
More winter.
I do too.
Yeah.
But when
like
my friends,
November and December.
my friend I was hanging out with her, she was like, "It's definitely October. Like October,
Really?
I get in the Halloween spirit by watching Harry Potter." I'm like, "That's insane."
Interesting.
Because it's like a winter thing.
I
for
do
me.
love though the scene when they're in the Great Hall around Halloween
And the
time
troll.
with the floating candles.
That is really cool. Also had the Witches, the Roald Dahl movie, like the Roald Dahl book. The guy who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
He wrote the Witches. Taven didn't even know what I was talking about.
No
But I
idea.
felt like it was a classic movie when I was a kid. It's about this little boy. His grandma tells him witches are real, and he ends up at this hotel, and there's a meeting of the witches, like with the Grand High Witch.
I remember the book.
Okay, yes. And,
Oh my god, because, wasn't the illustration, like, they had, like, weird, like, creepy hair?
Yes.
Yes.
and the movie it's honestly scary, especially if you
Oh
think
my
about
gosh.
watching it as a kid.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend that. I think it's so good. My next one was Bewitched, but not the TV show. The movie with Nicole Kidman and Will Ferrell from the early 2000s. It's kind of like a revamping of Bewitched, and it's so fun. It's like a fun witch movie. It's not scary. What were you going to say?
I just actually don't know if they're even witches and how we haven't brought this up, but isn't Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, I had that on my list, but I took it off.
Oh.
Because everyone knows Hocus Pocus.
Well, yeah, but it's just a classic.
It is a classic. Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Circe, it's a book, but she's in Greek mythology, and she's like a witch, and she's kind of banished to her own island. It's a really good book.
Haven't read it.
Yeah,
I have it.
Gave it to Taven
Yeah.
Navarro.
Like 2 years ago.
And then I had the Scooby-Doo Zombie Island and
Yeah.
Witch's Ghost. So those are my witch recommendations.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I already talked about all of mine already, kind of spread throughout the episode, but
yeah.
Just to, reiterate, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Vampire Diaries, of course, The Witcher, and then Outlander. Yeah.
Yeah. So get into spooky season, watch some witch stuff. We'll be back next week. We actually don't know what we're going to talk about next week, so...
Yeah, we were thinking werewolves maybe, but I just don't have enough
Cody's
content.
interested to talk about
That's
werewolves,
true.
so we might bring Cody on.
Return guest.
But who knows? We could do zombies. I have a lot of zombie movies that I like.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
love
we could do
zombies.
zombies.
I feel like I could talk for a whole hour about I Am Legend. I love that movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It feels just like a normal movie though. It doesn't feel very like Halloween-y or spooky season to me, but...
So we'll be back. It'll be a surprise next week, I guess.
Who knows?
Hope you enjoyed our witch stuff and our fight.
A little taste.
Okay, Taven.
Because they've gotten a lot worse than that.
Let's both do our witch
I'm not gonna do it.
Why?
I can't.
Okay, I'll end us with our witch.
Okay.